caliber could write them. It was to be a message of insight for those who had sought meaning in life or the counsel of a learned friend in navigating life's journey. And it was also believed to be a manuscript that had inexplicably been lost. I had only learned of the manuscript after I had undertaken the move of the Durant archive to my home in Ontario, Canada. And then it had been as a result of several months poring over newspaper clippings, old essays, letters, audio recordings, decaying movie film, magazine articles, and cryptic jottings that became the fodder for certain volumes of the story of civilization. There were, of course, many delightful surprises during this period, chiefly the discovery of Dr. Durant's manuscript, Heroes of History, and the audio recordings that he created with his wife Ariel for that project, both written and recorded during his 93rd year. Evidently, Durant had still been working on the book in some capacity during this period, but then after happening upon the tantalizing fragments indicated above, there was nothing. No scrap of paper even indicating such a title, no evidence at all that such a manuscript ever existed. As the Durant archive had been well picked over by manuscript houses shortly after his passing, I knew that I hadn't seen absolutely everything he had written. I contacted his granddaughter, Monica Mile, about getting in touch with these archive houses to at least see what they had in inventory from the Durant papers. Some were cooperative, others would not return calls. And then I happened upon an archive house that indicated that they had sent the Durant estate copies of their collection, which included letters between Will and Ariel and a manuscript entitled Fallen Leaves. An extensive search of the Durant archive by both Monica and I, along with repeated attempts to obtain an additional copy from the archive house, or even a contact for the person who might have this treasure in his possession, proved fruitless. The manuscript house indicated that they had given the estate photocopies of what they had shortly after their purchase, and that was all they were prepared to do. And then Monica sold her house. During the course of packing, she came upon a box marked Durant Copies, and lo and behold, inside were not only some 2,100 papers of correspondence between Will and Ariel Durant, itself fascinating and most certainly print-worthy, indeed, certain of the letters the Durants had themselves published in their 1977 offering, A Dual Autobiography, but also various drafts of the manuscript for Fallen Leaves. What was lost had now been found and could now be made known. The result is the book you are now listening to, the final unpublished work of Will Durant. Fallen Leaves is perhaps Will Durant's most personal book, presenting Durant's personal opinions rather than those of others, such as statesmen and eminent philosophers, on the major problems of life, politics, religion, and society. It is, in at least one respect, an ideal tome, as who among us has at one time or another not wished to seek the counsel of one wiser than ourselves? And who better to ask advice from on our most pressing concerns and social issues than a man who not only has lived long enough to have passed through all of the various hazardous straits of life, but who also was renowned for his broad erudition and knowledge of virtually all cultures and civilizations, and who had traveled the world several times over to better understand the ways of human behavior. In Fallen Leaves, Durant's words are as insightful and revealing now as ever before, a joy to read, as his prose always is, and, unlike most philosophers who delight in obscurity, Durant's insights and recommendations are not only practical, but easy for lay people to comprehend. Gauging from the chapters, which were uncharacteristically all dated in Dr. Durant's hand, he began writing Fallen Leaves on March 20th, 1967, roughly 1 year prior to the release of his book, The Lessons of History, and coinciding with the release of Interpretations of Life. And as he referenced the work in newspaper interviews well into the late 1970s, it appears that Durant had continued to work on the book for over a decade. The concept had been for Durant to present his views on various social, religious, and political issues. This he did by revisiting and revising certain of his earlier and lesser-known writings on certain subjects, and crafting entirely new material for others.